with regards to mental health, mental health is not an excuse for bad behaviour.
No.
Do you know what I mean? That's Kanye, that's True Geordie, that's any of these people. Do you know what I mean? Ultimately, any of these people that have fame, they have money, they have success, they're still human beings.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That doesn't, you know, you get a bunch of, when you're famous and you're successful, whatever, you get a bunch of perks and privileges.
Yeah.
But there are some places that you can't get perks and privileges. I get, you know, if I want to go to a concert and there's one ticket left and there's me or Kanye is going to bring in more money for them, they're going to give a ticket to Kanye, that's fine. But if it's stuff that's real human interaction stuff, we're not just going to allow you to get, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like for example, like when I always bring it to football, but like footballers, they get a lot of criticism when they're not playing well, and then people start to say they pull the mental health card and they say, look, these guys are also just humans. You saying they're shit, you saying they hope they get hurt or this, that, the other, they hope they get injured so they don't play for your club or get out of the club. They're like, they're actual human beings, and if they read this stuff, it's going to hurt their, you know, it will impact them because they do see it. Like, they're on the global stage, they'll see it like all over papers, plastered everywhere, on Twitter. They check the social media and stuff like that. People are very in tune with social media. And I get that, but there has to be like at the same time, they're entertainers, right? Like they play football as a living, and we watch that we pay their wages to go watch football to be entertained and watch our teams win. I think me criticising a footballer for their ability to play the game in their sport, like that's no different to, you know, if I was cooking and I fucking burnt your steak or whatever, you'd say you're a shit cook, because I am a shit, that would make me a shit cook.
Or at the very least, you've made a mistake.
Yeah, or I've made a mistake, or you can pull me up on it. You can say, oh, you didn't pull that off early enough, or whatever. Like, you would criticise the... If you say, oh, fucking hell, you're such an idiot, you're a dickhead, never cook again, then now you're starting to reach...
And there's a balance of power thing here, where are you criticising someone on the way up or criticising someone on the way down? So what I mean by that is, if I criticise Drake's album, which I think is fucking garbage, right?
The latest one.
The latest one.
I like maybe two songs.
I'd like two songs as well. Privileged Rappers and the Circo Loco song.
Oh, anyway. Circo Loco, yeah, but only because it's got like an old song that he's kind of brought
exactly.
in.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what caught my ear when I heard it. So I also like Rich Flex.
If that album does well, I feel even more comfortable to criticise it, because I feel that it's gonna do less damage to Drake's mental health. I don't care about Drake's mental health. He probably fucks all the bitches that I've. You know what I'm saying? So, but he, you know, it's gonna do less damage. Whereas if someone's released an album and it absolutely flops, they lose all their money, everything's lost, and then you pile on, then they're two very different scenarios. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, it's like in football, to use your thing. So if City win the title and I go, Jack Grealish, you're fucking shit, you did nothing for this title. He's won the title. He made shit. It's a different scenario. It can still affect him.
Yeah.
But you might look at that differently to, like, if someone's been relegated down to League One and you're like, mate, you're fucking trash. You shouldn't even be a footballer. That person's already on the way down in their personal life.
Yeah, but then when you were talking about criticising up and criticising down, I thought you meant like criticising as in like, you know, when it's kind of like you put your arm around the shoulder, where it's like, oh, you didn't do that well that game, but if you do this, this, and this, then like you're kind of politely criticising them, if you know what I mean. Like when you're saying,
I mean, like, I was just mean like just general football criticism, like, do you know what I mean? Just like, because like when it was Granit Xhaka, you know, I put out a video and I said, anybody criticising his family and talking about his kids, you're not an Arsenal fan. You're not a football fan, you're not an Arsenal fan. You're talking about the guy's wife and children.
Yeah, well, that's when you're taking it too far.
That's just scumbag behaviour. And none of you would say this to his face.
Yeah.
It's just pathetic.
Well, that's the other problem that we have, is that you get a lot of keyboard warriors these days who will say stuff that they'll never say to your face. Like, loads of people say it. Famous people will say it. Like, if you read, like, YouTube comments and that, it will be disgusting, some of the stuff that people say. But to their face, at events, nobody has ever said any of the comments that they would have said on YouTube to their face. Ever. Like, they just wouldn't have the balls to say it face to face with someone.
Yeah. This is the thing of, like, people like Geordie and, like, YouTubers and stuff like that, because they sit in a weird middle ground with reality TV and stuff, because they have to be, they are quite real. A lot of these guys bring their family in to, because they're trying to sell a lifestyle. If you look at, like, people on, like, Love Island and these kind of reality TV show people, they're not celebrities like Kim and them, like, who are very detached.
Kind of
those guys are very detached. Whereas if you look at someone like Expressions, like, he's from the ends, like, do you know what I mean? You'll see this guy walking around the street. You're not going to see Kanye just walking. You might, but it's very rare you're going to see Kanye walking down the street. The guys like Rance and these guys are very normal people that are down the street. So you're more likely to bump into them. And some of these people, not them, but some other YouTube and stuff, they bring their families and their kids or whatever. They almost use them for more limelight or to parade how successful their life is or whatever. But then they put those people up for scrutiny then if you're going to bring your kid into the limelight. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, because obviously people are going to criticise Geordie for his comments and for his apology, and that's going to have an impact on his mental health. Should we?
And he suffered from mental health issues before, didn't he?
Should we
not?
Yeah, should we not criticise him then? What do we do? What do we do in that scenario?
No, I think that he's deserving of criticism for that, because I think there's a right and wrong to what he's done there. Like what racism is widely accepted as wrong, and what he said is stereotyping a whole religion. And you know, there's just because there's been, you know, things that have happened in the past from that religion doesn't mean that that whole religion suddenly becomes bad. Do you know what I mean? Because of that thing. So now that he's made that comment, that's just widely accepted as wrong. So I think he deserves criticism for that. But if you start to cancel him and then take away everything he's achieved in life because of that, maybe a mistake, it could be a deeper issue, but it could also have been just a thing that he said he thought was funny, or like, I don't know why he said it, but like maybe he thought it would get clipped up and like get loads of views or whatever, and it's ended up backfiring on him, made a mistake, and if you cancel it, if you cancel him, that could have a massive impact on his whole life. That could change the shape of his whole life in general.
I think the issue with the Geordie thing as well, specifically, is that he plays a character a lot of the time where he's trying to be entertaining, and what he said about Tate, or what he said about the Muslims specifically, it felt like the veil had slipped. And it felt like this is your real opinions. This wasn't a case of you trying to make a joke, because he wasn't laughing. He goes, if he's serious, he should just...
I didn't see it, to be fair.
I'll show you after, but he wasn't laughing, he was dead serious. He was like, well, if he is serious about God and Islam and that, do you know what I mean? Like, hopefully he takes it all the way. But he wasn't laughing. It's one thing if you're laughing when you say it, and you're like, you say a joke and you go, you know what, in my head it was funny, but in reality, actually, it probably wasn't that funny, blah, blah, blah. That's totally different. It slipped out, whatever. But this is like, you're being dead serious.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But also with his apology, I was just trying to make an argument for him, but I just think, like, listening to everything that you're saying now and the fact that his apology just felt so fake, I think he's deserving of all the criticism that comes his way. I just think you make a comment like that, you're asking to be criticised. Like, nobody would have said anything if he just left it how it is. Yeah. Like, you know, cool, Andrew Tate's converted to Islam. Like, leave it at that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? There's no need to then...
because that's true, actually, because they don't like each other. They've been asked about fighting each other. Tate said he'd smash up Geordie. Geordie said, look, if I ever see him face to face, I'll punch him, but I'm not going to train for a fight and actually fight him. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm just not interested in that, blah, blah, blah. So that's where they're at. The religion just didn't need to come into it at all.
But that's what I mean. Like, it felt like it was another thing to try and have a dig at someone. Yeah. Like, as if to say, like, oh, well, you're Muslim, that's another reason to kind of hate you. Where like, what's his religion got to do with anything?
Yeah, so it's a weird thing to bring
there's no need to even add it into the conversation. I don't know why it's even come up. So, like, of course he deserves criticism. Will it impact his mental health? Probably. Yeah. Like, he's probably going to get a load of comments in his YouTube, in DMs, with people saying all this sort. I mean, you see it all the time with people who, like, again, I use the football example, like, maybe they cost you a game, they're going to get DMs saying, you're shit, hope you die, I'm going to kill you. Like, literally all this stuff that would never get said in person. And that probably affects them. It probably makes them think about their safety in life in general and stuff like that. So he's probably gonna get bare like Muslim people come into his comments and shit on him pretty much. But like, I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but what he said, I don't think that was right.
So I mean, hopefully people can stick to legit criticism of what he said and not stoop to the same level that he stooped to and start saying stupid shit.
But I still think he needs to realise that what he did was wrong. And he still deserves the criticism that's going to come his way for it.
Yeah, to me it makes the love that he has of any Muslim people in his personal life completely redundant, because ultimately what it tells me, if you have an argument with a guy, random guy on the street, you turn around to him, you're like, you fucking black bastard, or whatever, that makes me think, if me and you had an argument, could you go there with me then? Is that really just lying under the surface? It's really lying under the surface, and you need a situation to bring it out, and that's what makes me uncomfortable.
The thing is as well with him is that you didn't even have to scratch that deep. Like,
correct.
He like you were saying, religion doesn't even come into it, and he's felt the need to bring it up. So it's like, how, like, it's just below the surface.
I think Lawrence might have brought it up as well, which makes it even weirder.
But it's
if
like,
Lawrence's wife is Muslim, why would he even bring that up?
Yeah, I need to watch the whole clip to
have
we'll
watch the clip after.
Opinion on it,
so,
but like,
so weird. The whole thing's weird.